Well, hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ladies Listen Up. What is your relationship with your money? Man, we've been all around the mulberry bush to get back to this point and to understand that it's not just about our money, even though money is a defense and a shield and a defense, right? It helps us to be able to have a different experience. But before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. I'm sure somebody in your sister girl circle needs a nudge to say, come on over. We're not just talking about money, we're talking about the overall wellness of life. And that means mind, body, spirit, everything that touches us, right? Let me get a little sip here. And the cup mug of the day says, it says nice until proven naughty. Don't know what that means. Got my little green tea still sticking out of there. But anyhow, take a sip. Mm, 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 mm. That mixture is a little different. And I also learned something from one of my daughters. She said, take the tea bag out of the tea after it's steeped. Did y'all know that? So I'm going to do it now. Probably already got that bitter taste in there, but I'm going to do it and ditch it. Alrighty, let's get down to business, okay? So Grandma's cookie jar. Grandma's cookie jar is full of nuggets for you that are just now tuning in for the first time. We talk about Grandma's cookie jar because there is so much wisdom in Grandma's cookie jar, more than just recipes, right? And butter droppings and vanilla extract droppings on the recipes that Grandma kept in her cookie jar. She not only kept them in her cookie jar, but guess what? She shares so much rich knowledge and wisdom. And sometimes I think about it. I remember sitting at the feet of my great grandmother, Miss Hattie Odom. Remember, she went and got her high school diploma at 93 years old. Man, I'm telling you, I wish if I look back, and for some of the women that are watching, make sure that you sit at the feet of the elder women. Man, I'm telling you, we miss so many amazing, amazing stories and wisdom and nuggets when we don't do that, right? So, man, I just think about one of the what she was talking about. She was talking about the days of things that happened back in slavery. She talked about just all of the things that she remembered that she lived through, that she went through, and she was sharing those stories. And as young girls, you don't sit down and really listen and pay attention. You get a little older and you say, man, those stories, how to really carry yourself and be a woman and to be ladylike and to be feminine and to do the things that, we should embrace as women and the gift of femininity, the power of femininity, right? Man, I'm telling you, but there are some women that still will pass those rich lessons down to us. And I'm just giving us a little thought of the day. Pay attention. All right, Grandma's Cookie Jar Secrets today says, you deserve love and you will get it. I like that because we talk about not settling, right? We talk about we don't want to settle because we deserve the very, very best. All right, Grandma Cookie Jar, that was a good one for today. You deserve love and you will get it. Think about a dose of positive energy, right? Today, I just wanted to go back and talk a little bit about, when we first started in 2019, it was the Global Diva podcast, right? And the Global Diva podcast was about women of domestic violence, meaning that, I started an organization to help provide resources for women that have gone through domestic violence. And it didn't kick off as well as I wanted it to. Got busy with some other ventures and everything. But you full circle. We're coming back full circle. So one of our guests is going to do a podcast with us. Her business is a program that has resources available for women that have gone through domestic violence. And so someone recommended her to me, and we started a conversation. And she's also a subscriber of the Oasis Wellness of Life podcast. So I don't know if she knows that way back in 2019, we were bringing resources and talking about domestic violence. So just wanted to come back and do sort of like a refresher and just let everybody know why we actually started Oasis Wellness of Life, the podcast. We started the podcast to bring those resources and to help bring awareness to domestic violence. Okay. I'm going to share a story with you, with permission, of course, Okay, and one of our authors in the daddy daughter dynamic, she talked about heal the hurt or repeat the pain. And I say heal the hurt or repeat the pain again and again and again and again. So before I talk a little bit more about daddy daughter dynamic, I'm going to talk a little bit about the story that I wanted to share with you. There was this young lady who grew up in a dysfunctional family, right? And dysfunction comes in all different shades and different sources. So again, dysfunctional meaning that it's not functioning in a healthy manner, right? She in that domestic, in that domestic, not domestic, but in that dysfunctional situation, it births insecurities because when you're in dysfunction, it can birth insecurities because there's not healthy, there's not enough dose of healthy um, contributions to your growth and to your development, if you will, right? So that births some insecurities, which birth unhealthy abusive relationships because, when you see abuse, you often repeat that, right? So it births unhealthy relationships, which birth workaholic behaviors. Workaholic behaviors meaning that you wanted to go back or she wanted to find somewhere where she could be in control, where she could have some sense of, it's called when you self-medicate, right? And workaholism is self-medicating, along with some things about love. If you go back to some of the way earlier episodes and blow the dust off of those, you will see that we talked a lot about, attributes of domestic violence and what happens and what causes those things to happen in your life, right? After the workaholic behaviors, there was a vicious cycle of self abuse, meaning not taking care of herself, people pleasing. Then, boom, an accident. The accident turned her world upside down. Now, do we want to talk about the boom, the accident, or do we not want to talk about the boom, where she was sitting in front of a loaded shotgun? Let's talk a little bit about the loaded shotgun since we're on the topic of domestic violence, right? We talked about heal the hurt or repeat the pain. Well, those were just a tidbit or just a peek into my life, right? And I shared that because I want everybody, if there's any women that are going through domestic violence that are watching the podcast, I want you to understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? There is a better life on the other side of that fear. I was able to walk into a better life and I'm still climbing. And yes, did I get knocked down and had to get back up? Yes, I did. Knocked down several times, on again and again. But I was determined that that was not going to be my destiny. My destiny, I had more, I had brighter things in store for myself. And I want to encourage any woman that's going through domestic violence, this could be a wake up call for you. Like the wake up call that I got when I was laying in bed one night and just trying to figure out how did I get here? Trying to figure out what is my way out of this situation, right? I looked at a John Walsh he was on, and I watched the episode, right? And oh my word, he said if any of these 8 things, 8 to 10 things he named, are a part of your relationship, you're in domestic violence. Talk about a boom. I'm like, okay, I knew it was not a good, healthy relationship, but domestic violence, I didn't know that domestic violence came in other forms other than physical abuse, but there's psychological, there's financial abuse, there's just all types of abuse. And so, and it's domestic violence if somebody else is controlling your thoughts, controlling what you do, controlling what you wear, control. Woo, had enough of control, right? And controlling people. So I talk about this because I really want us to understand that, there is a way out, but the way out, it takes healing that hurt that we talked about, healing the hurt so we don't continue to repeat the pain. Because even out of the relationship, you can go back into another relationship that is abusive because it's a familiarity. For some reason, once you're in that abusive cycle, it's like you really have to consciously make some steps like the young ladies program that we're going to talk about in an upcoming episode. There are things and steps that you must do in order to help yourself to heal, to identify that hurt. I went through therapy multiple times, right? There's no shame in it. I know in this culture, we're just now getting into that where if we stump our toe or not even stump it, but if we break our arm, we go get help, to get it wrapped and healed and everything. But when it comes down to the mental, meaning that we don't know the things that happen to us in our childhood, how that trauma stores in our body and develops into PTSD or it develops into, depression or anxiety, right? All of those things, and you don't know it, you haven't identified. So oftentimes, somebody that's going through domestic violence will suffer in silence. And people say, we're going to talk about it as we continue to go further, but people say, why didn't you get out? Well, what about finances? That's why I talk about asset diversification. Because if you really take a pen and a piece of paper and you start mapping it out and keeping your notes somewhere safe, but mapping it out, there is a plan because there is a plan for each and every one of our lives. We have a specific plan. It was Les Brown that said, if you fall down, make sure you fall on your back because if you can look up, you can get up. No matter how many times you fall down, you can get up. It was Muhammad Ali that said the mat is no place for a champion, right? One of my coaches, Coach Michael Bart Matthews, he said, in every adversity, there's a seed of greatness. Find your seed of greatness, right? And so no matter what, I said that was a closed chapter, even though I ran into another situation that was abusive faith. That there's a way out, right? But if I don't develop other patterns, if I don't develop healthier habits, I'm going to keep getting into those same situations. So boom. What is your boom? What is your boom, right? Wow. I want to talk a little bit, switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the things that we talk about when we talk about dysfunctional beginnings. In the project, the Daddy-Daughter Dynamic, where I'm one of the co-authors, along with, we call ourselves, or affectionately, we're called the Power 13. But it took a lot for us to bare our souls and to put our stories out here for other people to be able to read it and identify. And we knew that if we put our stories down and open our hearts, guess what? Our pain was not in vain. If one person picks up this book and says, you know what, I identify with that. There is a better way. And if one person can do that, guess what? The book is a success. I mean, the book is already a success. We're best-selling authors now, which is just amazing. So let me read the titles of these books, and maybe that'll trigger because it's not always one person's voice that you will hear, right? Sometimes friends and family will say something and you won't hear it, but then somebody else will say something, and all of a sudden, boom, the light will come on, right? So I want you to keep in your mind today, what is my boom, right? What is my boom? What's going to propel me to do something to make a difference and make a change, right? Chapter 1, From Wounded to Victorious. Chapter 2, which is my chapter, A Family Secret. Chapter 3, Where is My Daddy? Chapter 4, The Decisions He Made. Chapter 5, My Daddy Died 4 Times, Family Secret. Chapter 6, A Father to the Fatherless. Chapter 7, Real or Real. Two Sides of Reality. Chapter 8, Second Coming, Rebirth, The Setup. In the Beginning. Chapter 9, Evolution of a Butterfly. Chapter 10, Trust No One. And we learn that in domestic violence, when you're going through it, you learn trust no one. Chapter 11, The Father of Lies. Ooh-wee. Chapter 12, Lopsided, Balancing the Scales of My Soul. Chapter 13, Shaken, Not Stirred. Ooh-wee. I'm telling you, it took a lot for the Power 13 to bear their information and to be able to share their true stories, their truth, right? So, man, I just wanted to pull some of that out and just give a refresher on, being able to see how we can overcome a challenge, meaning a challenge in our life that doesn't have to be your destiny. Talk a little bit about the accident. In the accident, yes, I was thrusted into a tree and rolled down off the hill, and the car went back down into traffic and they totaled it, right? Man, woke up a week later, everything hurt from the top of my head down to my feet. Boom, 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 right? And I will talk more about my story and how, what it takes to overcome the challenges every single day. I will talk more about that in my upcoming book. And wow, It's going to be good, y'all. It's going to be good. And I know you all know the first book was It's Smoothie Time, and in that book I talk about overcoming the challenges of the accident and still working through them on a daily basis. So, just one of the things that I think is key, especially when you're talking about domestic violence, is the children, right? My daughter told me something, and I mentioned it in one of the earlier episodes. She said, "Ma, because of your decisions, you saved 9 lives." And now, because I have more grandchildren, I actually have 3 adult children, 2 amazing sons by marriage, or 2 additional amazing sons by marriage, 8 amazing grandchildren and counting, right? So when she said that to me, it just really struck me. She said, "Mom, you've made a difference." So the ladies that are going through domestic violence or in domestic violence understand the children do feel it, and it does affect them. My daughter is 35 years old now, and it still has effects on her. So don't think that you're staying in a bad relationship and it's because of the children, because we often do more harm than we do good with that. So I just wanted to come on today to give that little introduction as to why did we start Oasis Wellness of Life. We started it because we wanted a safe place where people could come, gather information, learn how to some of the things that we didn't learn when we were growing up about our money. How do I create an emergency fund? $5, $5, $5. You look up by the end of the year, you'll have a stack. See, so the important thing is that when you get ready to set you a plan of action to get out of domestic violence, you want to make sure that you created those safe steps so that when you do, you're able to financially take care of yourself on the other side, right? Because sometimes I couldn't even go back to my job, right? There were so many hurdles and things to overcome. And now I say, guess what? It's no longer about, somebody filling a void because you may feel a little lonely, or because, you're going to settle because you just want to be in a relationship because society tells you that singleness is something wrong with it. What is good for you? That's what's key. What's good for you? What helps you to breathe easy at night? What helps you to have a peace of mind? What helps you to be in control of you, right? We did an episode of podcast about people pleasing. That's a good episode to go back and watch as well. But this is to bring some awareness. We're going to get even deeper into how to help us to come out of domestic violence. It took years and years for me to get to where I am now, and I have not arrived. I'm still working on it, still working on the challenges. But you know what? As long as we have breath in our body, we can get up and we can make a change. So I hope this helped someone today. I wanted to leave you with this story, which I love this story. This is one of my favorites. There was a farmer and a donkey, and he was plowing through his field, and the donkey fell in a hole. And he tried and tried and tried to get that donkey out of that hole, and he couldn't get the donkey out of the hole. So he said, well, the only humane thing for me to do would be to throw dirt on it and to bury the donkey, right? Let's take him out of his misery. He kept chucking the dirt, shoveling and chucking, shoveling and chucking. And all of a sudden, he looked in the hole wasn't getting closed up. So he looked down in the hole, and all of a sudden, he saw the donkey shaking off the dirt, packing it under his feet. How many times somebody do something to you, and you got to shake off the dirt and pack it under your feet? But every punch, every kick, every abusive word, everything, pack it under your feet. Become stronger with it and do like that donkey did. He walked up out of that hole. He walked up out of that situation, right? So I'm saying everything that you do, make sure that you gather your resources. If you are in a domestic violence situation, and people ask me often, what do you do? It comes with a plan. And it's not about being right. It's not about getting in somebody's face and being right. It's about being safe and being alive. So today, I just, my prayer for you is that this will help. By me being more transparent, this will help somebody. If I can walk away with $5.35 in my pocket and a 7-year-old in tow, you can do it as well. All righty. We have resources in Oasis Wellness of Life. We call it the Smart Money Circle. We're able to partner with other organizations and make a real difference. So, all righty. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Listen, learn, and leverage the information. All righty. Bye for now. I hope something I said makes a difference. All righty. Bye for now.